So, part two of how autism impacts my Christian life, and we have already talked about some of the positive things, a couple of the positive things. Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of the negative things, which are basically social issues pertaining to me and other human beings, and social issues pertaining to me and God, my relationship with Him. So, first, I would say that, generally speaking, a lack of empathy is not a great thing, for a Christian. I have to really work at that and try to, cry when those are, mourn with those that mourn and laugh with those that are laughing and all of that. I fail to pick up on social cues when people are struggling. I generally speaking need somebody to tell me exactly what's going on. I'm not going to read between the lines very well. And so that makes just day to day life as a Christian, especially when I was in, official full-time ministry, whatever you want to call it. I was pastoring, church planting, those kinds of things. It made me very not effective as a pastor because I wasn't attuned with the needs of the sheep, and that was a very difficult thing. That's one of the reasons why I stepped away from that particular ministry role into a more teaching role. Okay, so the second thing, and this is hard for me to confess, is that my prayer life is fairly abysmal most of the time because I have a hard time forming my thoughts into words. I would much rather sit down and write something. That's why I text and I don't call people, because I want to think through what I'm saying and make sure I get the right words. But prayer needs to be a very organic thing. It needs to be from the heart. It needs to be somewhat extemporaneous, meaning not prepared, not gone through and sifted and all of that stuff. And I really struggle with that. I'm a firm believer that you need to use your voice to pray. I do believe that God hears silent prayers. Hannah is a good illustration of that. You also have Nehemiah, that he quickly prayed to the Lord at the end of Nehemiah chapter number one, or no, the beginning of chapter two. And so I believe that God hears silent prayers, but also you read the Psalms and you'll see. I think Psalm 116 is the one that I've been really thinking about for the last 3 weeks. I love the Lord because he hath heard the voice of my supplications. And I'm like, how my love is not what it should be because I'm not giving out the voice of my supplications like I should be. And so I struggle to communicate in every facet of my life, whether that's with other people or whether that's with the Lord. And so that's hindered me in a very negative way. The wonderful comfort to this is that God knows me, and he doesn't necessarily expect a perfect prayer. He expects an honest prayer. And so anyway, those are some of the more negative things. When I think of more ways that autism impacts my Christian life, I may post those depending on how these videos do.